Elite Facts presents
7 crazy things found in storage units. 8. So we all know about those shows on TV like Storage Wars and Storage Hunters, and for the most part we know it's scripted reality television. We know for a fact that's going to annoy a lot of you out there, but it's the truth. But behind all the scripted drama, a lot of the things found on this show are legitimate finds. Don't believe us? Well, let's take a look at some of the things people have found when purchasing used storage lockers. Here are 7 crazy things found in storage units.
7.
The very first Superman comic. So when first hearing that, you may think, how is this an impressive find? Well, considering this is an original print from 1938, that would make it pretty damn expensive. But that's not what makes this find impressive. In 2000, one copy was stolen from American actor Nicolas Cage, who is known to be an avid comic book collector. It wasn't until March 2011 that this copy of the comic was found in a storage locker in the San Fernando Valley and was verified by ComicConnect.com to be the copy sold to him previously. It's said that there are only 50 to 100 of these original prints left in the world, and it's worth around $3.2 million.
6.
James Bond's Lotus Esprit from The Spy Who Loved Me. Considering that there have been 24 Bond films released to date, you've got to imagine that a lot of props and gadgets have slipped through the cracks and have gone missing over the franchise's 55-year existence. You know, small things like Scaramanga's golden gun, Jaws' teeth, Bond's Walther PPK, or one of the many gadget watches he's had throughout the series. However, someone hit the jackpot and didn't even know the object in question was from a James Bond film. In 1989, a man paid less than $100 to buy the contents of a storage unit at a facility on Long Island. At first glance, before purchasing the locker's contents, he only saw a few useful and valuable items worth selling off at auction and pawn shops. When he and his brother cut the lock the next day, they found a white sports car without the wheels and with a dented roof. When he drove home with the car tied to the bed of his truck, other drivers soon told him via CB radio that the vehicle was one of the submarine cars operated by James Bond in The Spy Who Loved Me. The man who purchased the locker had no idea, as he'd never even seen a James Bond film, let alone The Spy Who Loved Me. When hearing this, he immediately rented the movie to see what all the fuss was about. 8 versions of the car appear in the film, and until then, only 7 of the 8 had been accounted for. The car was used for promotions when the film was released. Promotion or not, this is something every James Bond fan would love to have. Later, the car was purchased at auction by Tesla founder Elon Musk for almost $1 million.
5.
A human body. This is definitely one of the more darker finds on this list. So we've seen this actually happen on Storage Wars with controversial items that the patron is not allowed to take with them. Things like unmarked guns, drugs, obviously, and of course, a freaking dead body. Now, that last one didn't happen on Storage Wars as far as we're aware, but you get the idea. So what's the story behind this one, you might ask? Well, in 2012, a family in Florida discovered that their grandmother's remains had been stored in a unit after a deathbed confession from their mother, according to the Tampa Bay Times. When 95-year-old grandmother Ann Bunch passed away in a nursing home, her daughter, Bobby Bennett Hancock, promised to take care of everything for her before she passed away. However, rainstorms and a dysfunctional truck prevented Hancock from giving her mother an appropriate burial. So Hancock took the body, coffin and all, to her storage unit. But Hancock's ex-son-in-law cites grief and hoarding tendencies as the real cause. Quote, Bobby had trouble facing the fact that her mother was gone. Losing a parent isn't an easy thing to deal with, but this certainly isn't the way to deal with it. 4. Burt Reynolds' career. Okay, not literally. Burt's actual career is alive and well, but we're talking about memorabilia. So as it turns out, Burt Reynolds was a bit of a hoarder himself, as over the course of his tenure in movies, the legendary actor would routinely acquire memorabilia and collected artifacts from his life that he would store in several different storage units. When he defaulted on payments in 1999, the contents of his unit were put up for auction. However, a group banded together, bought many of the items, and created the Burt Reynolds and Friends Museum, so fans from all over could see things such as Reynolds' honorary sheriff's badges, Roy Rogers' saddle, and personal letters from other celebrities to Reynolds.
3.
A human leg. You know, barbecues can be a lot of fun. Get the family and friends together, have a laugh, throw back a few beers, and enjoy a meal. Well, unfortunately, this story is not a grand old time, as this was certainly not your average backyard barbecue. When Maiden, North Carolina native Shannon Wisnant found a meat smoker in the storage unit he purchased at auction in 2007, he essentially turned green when discovering what was stored inside. Upon lifting the lid of the smoker, its contents were revealed not to be a slab of juicy pork ribs, as he or anyone else would have thought it to be, but rather an amputated human leg. The original owner of the storage unit, John Wood, lost his leg above the knee after a plane crash back in 2004. He said he was keeping the leg in the unit, which he had lost after he fell behind on payments, so he could eventually be buried with it. Wisnant, who legally owned the meat smoker and its contents, yes, this includes him legally having ownership of Woods' leg, initially gave the leg to police, who sent it to a funeral home. So the story is pretty strange already, right? Well, things got much more weird. According to the BBC, quote, after making money by charging adults $3 and children $1 to look inside the empty smoker, Mr. Wisnant asked for it back. His request was refused by the funeral home, so he decided to try to persuade Mr. Wood to share custody and profits. Now, let's be honest. What do you honestly think Woods' response would be to a statement like that? Well, if you guessed annoyed, then you are correct. Wood was certainly not amused by this offer and responded. He told the BBC, quote, I just think it's despicable. I don't mind having the 15 minutes of fame, but I'm not looking to really profit off this thing. He's making a freak show out of it. The pair eventually went to court, TV court, Judge Greg Mathis to be exact, and the leg was returned to Wood. A story like this is enough to turn someone vegan. It's that messed up.
2,
Unreleased music by the King of Pop. When Michael Jackson passed away in 2009, the world was devastated as they lost not only an extremely talented musician, but a pop culture icon. Although he's gone, his legacy continues to live on through his fantastic music, and little did we know there was plenty more of his music to be discovered. Over 250 original songs by Michael Jackson were once found in a storage unit belonging to his father, Joe Jackson. The songs in question were apparently recorded while Michael was between record contracts. That means that no recording companies had a legal claim to the songs found in the storage locker. These songs, as you'd probably expect, are reportedly worth millions of dollars, making the lucky buyer a smooth criminal. It's also worth mentioning that some of these songs even featured collaborations with other legendary pop artists like Tina Turner.
1,
A rocket. You know, you would think NASA would dispose of equipment properly, wouldn't you? Well, clearly that's not the case. While in Miami in 2011, Alan Half and Clinton Jones of Spike TV's Auction Hunters were searching for storage bins that they could purchase. They paid the sum of $1,500 for the contents of one single storage unit. After making a purchase, professional storage unit bidders load whatever they find of value into a truck to be sold later, and then they donate or trash what remains. Well, this time a NASA countdown clock and rocket was what was found behind door number 1. Half and Jones met with a space memorabilia expert to authenticate the items before reselling them. NASA did not ask for their rocket back.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.